Hey, genealogists, Happy New Year. I'm Richard Miller with Goldie May, and this is Unrehearsed Research, where I sit down with a genealogist and we record ourselves doing real research. In this episode, I sit down with Rick Wilson to organize my DNA results using the Leeds method. This opens the door for starting to use the DNA to answer research questions in a future episode. Of all the unrehearsed research videos so far, this one has been the very hardest to produce because Rick and I are looking at the names and faces of living people in my DNA results. And since we can't allow those faces or names to be made public, I've had to make sure that every second of the video preserves the privacy of those people. It may at times feel like you're watching us do genealogy through a frosted window, but I hope you'll find it's useful for me, brand new to DNA, to walk through the Leeds method with someone who knows it well, and maybe it will help you in your DNA research as well. With that, let's jump into the research. Grateful to welcome back Rick Wilson, PhD. He's a marketing professor and genealogist by night.
Thank you very much, Richard. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, so we talked last time about my Wilson line. That's where some mystery is for me, and you're a Wilson too. So the big fun thing would be if we're related. But we're gonna look at my DNA today. My dad's taking a DNA test, so we're gonna look at his kit. I think you're gonna walk us through the Leeds method today, right?
That is correct. The Leeds method is pretty much a standard method that's used to really kind of organize your DNA matches. That is, and I think it kind of serves a couple different purposes beyond organizing it. It's going to get you familiar with, how the matches appear and how to use some of the features within Ancestry. Then I think it's really going to be helpful for organizing them, analyzing them, and then really helping you answer the questions that you might have.
Cool. Okay. This is great. So I'm brand new to DNA. And then, Rick is, of course, brand new to my names, my family names. So this will be, I think, really good for me to have Rick's help here on this. We'll go to DNA, and I'm on my dad's kit, and we'll go to DNA matches. And Rick, I'll let you drive here. Tell me where to go.
Well, I'm glad you're at this page, and Ancestry DNA with their new side view technologies kind of been able to organize your matches either into paternal or maternal. And they've already named yours for you. And I think they were able to do that based off of the number of family members that you have tested. I know others that will be looking at this, it will just say parent 1, parent 2, and then you kind of have to decide. But they've already determined that this is your paternal side, this is your maternal side. So this is really going to help us as we kind of do the Leeds method to help us figure out, which of the lines that your DNA matches belong to. Good. So the next thing that we want to do really is kind of click on the all matches option up there.
Okay.
And then what we're going to basically be doing is looking at some of your really kind of your second cousin range to really kind of use those matches to kind of begin to organize all of your DNA matches into your different grandparent lines, or I guess I should say your father's grandparent lines. And that's going to help us later on when we start looking at your matches and really kind of answering some of the questions that you have, like specific on your Wilson line. You're going to be able to look at matches and quickly be able to determine, no, this is on another line, not the Wilson line. And so this tool that we're going to use, this method, is going to help us do that.
Okay, so the idea here is that if I group the people I know, then the people I don't know will also match to various people in the groups, and then that's how I'll be able to tell kind of what line they come through.
Absolutely. Okay. So the first person we want to do, we want to go down your list and look for somebody who has less than 400. So your first person,
the first person. Okay.
Which is, and the first thing we want to do is we're going to give this person a color, and we're going to use their dot system that Ancestry has to begin to help us organize it, and that'll do that visually. We'll also give it a name. But the first step we want to do is begin to kind of group these matches into your different grandparent lines. And we went down to the 400 level because that's down by your first cousin or second cousin level, which is those matches, they tend to share at that level, they share a grandparent. And so that's why we're picking this level, so that we start to organize them it'll become more apparent a little bit later when we start kind of organizing them and giving them groupings.
Okay, so if you were to organize for your twin brother, you'd
Yes,
share everything so that you want to get a little bit away from yourself so that you're kind of separating the line that this person comes through.
that's right. That's right.
Okay.
You're getting rid of your siblings and really even your parents, because you want to get down to that first cousin level. At this point, why don't we just click on add to group, and we are going to create a new group. And the one thing here we know, if you on this particular match that we're looking at, we know it's on your paternal side because that's what Ancestry has told us. And so when we start to use these colored dot systems, it's good to kind of keep that in mind, because we're going to kind of pull multiple colors as we kind of go through this. And so we're going to look at, if you click on the color here, and you can see how the dots are kind of organized, that you have the more yellows and oranges on one side, the greens and blues on another. Since we know this is paternal, let's use some of those yellow and orange ones when we start looking at this. And so we'll just keep this one orange for right now. And we're going to give this, just call it group 1 for right now.
Okay.
We figure out who that is, even though I know, you can click save. Even though Ancestry kind of suggests it's, the Miller Downs line, we're going to kind of ignore that, because at sometimes that can be inaccurate depending on how Ancestry pulls it from other trees. And so it kind of
interesting. Okay. So it's in there. And do I need to now?
Yes, go ahead and
check. Okay.
Yep. And now we're going to click on the shared matches feature. The Leeds method traditionally tells us to go down to the list till we find somewhere about 90 centimorgans. So we keep scrolling down the list until you find 90. There's one that's 92. What we're going to do here, I sometimes take it down to, sometimes 60 or 50, but it kind of depends on how many you really have. I think just for the sake of simplicity, we're going to kind of keep it at 90. Like if you know your matches really well, and sometimes you can take it down further, but if you're just kind of starting this, it's kind of good to kind of keep it at that 90 level, because what you'll see is the one that is right there, TE, is at the second to third cousin level. When you look at the one right below it, MW, it's at the third to fourth cousin level.
Oh yeah, so that's the cutoff there.
It's a good breaking point. If you were maybe a little bit more advanced and kind of looking at this, you might go down to the next level, but then we're looking at probably great grandparents rather than grandparents.
Got it. Okay, cool.
So we are going to, on the right of TE, there's a plus arrow. We're going to add them to the group 1.
Okay.
And then we're going to look for the next one that was right
that
above
scroll.
them.
Yeah, it's funny. It scrolled on me. Let's see if
It did scroll. So go back to the next one right above the one that we just did. Click add to group. Now you can click the orange button there, or the orange group, but you see there's boxes all along there. So you can click every single one of those.
Okay. So it moved on me, but okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Hey, I just want to explain what's going on here. When we first recorded this episode about a month ago, there seemed to be a bug in the Ancestry page where I would check a box and then the page would scroll to the top. So instead of being able to check multiple boxes in a row, I would have to scroll down between each one. Poor Rick stuck with me the whole time while we did a lot of scrolling, but the issue's gone now. It shouldn't be an issue for you. You should be able to check multiple boxes and then apply a color to them really easily now. And I'm just looking for everybody above
that 90 level, which was, I think it was TE.
Add to group. I don't want to click the wrong thing here, but yeah. Okay.
Add to group.
Cool. All right.
And so everybody is done here. And so what we want to do now is go back to your main list of matches.
So back. Okay. Yeah.
And now you're going to scroll down looking for the next match below 400 that doesn't have a color dot. So below
400 that doesn't have a color dot. So we're all orange there. Okay, there we go.
Yep. So we're going to use FS, and we can add him to a group, and we'll create a new one. And this one here, I didn't look to see what side of the tree he was on. There
Oh
we
yeah,
go.
let me pull it back there. Yeah. So
Unassigned. So not as helpful, but I was hoping to kind of keep the oranges and yellows together. But one of the things that might help us out here, if you go ahead and click on him and look at the shared matches, and we can kind
okay,
of begin
yeah.
to tell, like, it looks like it's on your paternal side.
So he matches to the orange group that we are in, but he isn't orange himself. Or
Yeah, he's
he
not
wasn't at
orange.
least part of that other,
That's right.
didn't match to
So
that one person. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, unless we missed him, I mean, we could check that just to be safe, but I think it's probably, there's several of them that are not.
So was he in shared matches for this first person? Let's see. Yeah, no, it doesn't. I'm doing a on page
Below
search and he
400.
didn't come. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, so there's some other line that he represents.
Okay.
And so we can put him, and we think he's paternal, but we could pick like maybe yellow this time and say group 2. And it's not so important that, you kind of operate paternal on one color side, but it's just nice if you can. It
Okay.
doesn't really do anything other than just help you visually. So
Okay.
when we are looking at this individual here,
Okay. Yep. Got him here.
okay, so go ahead, and it may just need to be refreshed or something. Oh, it may.
Okay. Maybe I hadn't checked the box. Okay. So yeah, there.
So click to add to group just to make
Okay.
sure. And then we want to look at this match and look at his shared matches.
Okay.
And just like we did on the other one, we want to go down to about the 90 level of centimorgans. And for all of these matches, put the color yellow associated
Okay.
with group 2.
Okay. So some will have orange already, but we'll still add yellow to those ones as well.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Because it's likely, and people who have yellow and orange, there's a common ancestor there. So
It is crazy that there's this many people out there that are your second cousins and
it's
you like
incredible, right?
don't know them. Yeah. Probably drove past them on the street like yesterday and didn't know it. Okay, we're going down to 90.
Yep.
Then we might be done. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great. So add to group yellow.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. All right.
All right. And then we'll go back to your full list of matches, and we'll again look for the next person below 400 that is not in a group.
And we think maternal on this one. So you would think you kind of stick to the colors.
Like I would go
right
a
side.
little bit blue or green. Yeah, I would
Yep.
go somewhere blue or green just to kind of.
Okay. Mix it up there. Okay. So then, and then I'm going to go shared matches.
And do the same process. So
Okay. And this is everybody up down to 90 centimorgans. Okay. So over here. Oh, this one isn't as bad. We're getting closer to 90 already.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the last one, I think. Okay.
All right.
So add to group.
Add to group.
And then back, right?
Yep. And look to see if there's anybody else that doesn't have a colored dot that is below 400.
So there's one.
And
maternal side. So we'll go kind of bluer. And I'll check her now just to make sure. Right. And then we'll go to shared matches.
Yep.
Okay. Add to group 4. Oh, wait, that was it?
That was it?
So I'll uncheck the one. Yeah, there's 105 and 70.
Yep.
So add to group. Okay. Back.
And see if there's anybody else between 400 and 90 that is not in a group. It's good. I'm noticing a lot of these ones aren't sharing any other dots. Most of them aren't.
Oh, okay, cool. So you kind of have a distinct group here.
Yeah, I mean, there's some overlap, and they are with the expected coloring. Like I think they're either the blue or the lighter green or the darker green.
If you see kind of the maternal and paternal colors mixed, then you start to be a little more concerned, or
If there's a lot, then it could suggest that they maybe have you have multiple ancestors in common, or there's some level of endogamy or pedigree collapse.
let's see if we end up having that. So you would typically not see 8 groups like this?
I mean, I've definitely seen like for mine, I think I had 6.
Okay.
Or maybe 7, but most of those were on my paternal side because they had been in the US for so long, but my maternal side had been.
Oh, okay.
So
So is the idea that some of these groups will probably uh, blend together?
yes. So what you'll tend to find out, like especially some of these latter ones that we're doing, they're going to be probably back to your great grandparents and maybe even great, depending on the inheritance level. But so you'll get some more distinct lines, and what we'll end up doing is, did you already do the shared ones? Or are you looking for
I
her?
didn't do the shared ones. Yeah, I was looking for her. She is right there.
Dotson, yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll look for the single dot ones and look to identify who we think that common ancestral couple is. And maybe there was one more.
Undo that one. Yeah. So there's 3 there.
Yeah, just really small.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dotson's a line I recognize as, back. So that's cool to see. There's my dad's sister and cousins, but then, distant relatives after that.
And this is, I think, great. I mean, because it's going to help you out so much when whatever research questions that you have in terms of any particular line, this will really begin to help you sort out. Because not all of them, as you're starting to notice, have the through lines associated with them.
Oh, okay.
And so this is, in essence, kind of like you're making your own through lines. We did it.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite an exercise.
Yes. So at this point, now that we've kind of identified using the color dot system and the Leeds method, put all of your matches between really the highest matches and those at the 90 level, they're all in a group. We want to go back up to the very top, and we want to now look for any of your matches here that only have one colored dot associated with it.
Okay.
And that one.
Yeah. So okay.
When we look at this one, now we're going to try to figure out which ancestral couple this match is associated with.
Okay. So the tree is kind of the tool for that?
The tree is the tool for this, but before Ancestry introduced through lines, and what you see right below the tree, you have a common ancestor.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The common ancestor is going to help there, but as we've probably talked before, we can't always assume that common ancestor that was identified by Ancestry is correct, because that's based off of other people's trees, including your own, and so it may not be accurate.
Okay,
but so it's certainly a hint.
Okay, so it's only as good as my research and their research.
That's right.
But we'll see if it's a match. Okay, yeah.
And so we see that it's Miller and Downs is what they kind of suggest. Now, if you click on shared matches, and we're looking for other matches that maybe only have the orange, that would be
that particular.
Yeah. And I would go down and see if you can find any that just have
so just the group one?
Just the group one, because that's going to help us a little bit more.
Okay. Does it help if do I filter that? Like if I filter
I think you can filter through groups.
Oh, but it's not exclusive to that one group, is it?
It's not, but you at least got rid of any of the other ones that might be, because you could look here.
True.
You can see all of these are on your paternal side just by the color scheme.
Yeah. Okay. That's right.
Uh,
And so if I were to find one with just one of that orange, then
yeah,
that'd be
there's
good.
one.
So there's one. Okay.
And this one doesn't have a tree, so it's not going to be helpful for us to kind of make sure.
Okay. I could take that surnames through the Goldie May tool to just see if
That's
there's a
right.
match. So this is so, and yeah, maybe I could explain this here. This is just for either grandparents, greats, or double great grandparents. It's doing a descendancy view of each of your sets of grandparents and then pulling out the surnames that aren't from your family lines. So these are generally the men that married into the family. And so if I can find that name call on here, then we would kind of be able to find
That's
maybe
what
what
we
side of the
want.
family they came in there. But yeah, I don't see it. So
And I remember you said that you pulled these surnames from your family tree on Family Search.
yeah, that's right.
So,
Yeah. So it could be that this is someone who is none of the calls are on the tree because they're all living or something.
or it could be that since it's a woman, this could be her married surname rather than her maiden.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, her husband, she and her husband are still living, and call is brand new to the family.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right. Okay, so I'll close that. So
Look for anything else below.
anything else? Okay, there's one. Oh no, that's two. Let's go down. And then the next one we found was a writer. I don't see any writers in the list either. So okay,
Maybe the same situation.
maybe same. Okay, and they don't have a tree. And so do you? Yeah, I guess if we could. Yeah, I guess you don't have any other way to tell where they're from, huh?
I mean, there's ways to kind of research and build a tree for them, but it's easier sometimes to look for other people who have a tree to kind of help us out.
Okay. There's
So
far. Don't see that one in the tree.
they have an
Leighton.
unlinked tree, so we might be able to check that.
That means we don't know where they show up in that tree.
No, and so, but they do this individual's surname matches the tree name here. So if we click on that
Ah,
unlinked tree, it just could be that this individual just didn't link.
okay.
And I don't know if any of these surnames look familiar, like it would descend through that. Taylor's pretty popular.
Taylor's pretty common, huh? Yeah. Giles. Can look at this Giles and see if that's okay. Paternal from my dad, and then coming back down. Yeah, I don't know if that's the right Giles, but see, this is Agnes Maria Giles. I don't know if that's helpful or not. Maybe not.
It may not be.
Okay. And then Thorpe. I don't know if. Yeah, I don't see a Thorpe. Okay.
I think there was
That was Leighton.
no tree.
No tree. We checked Leighton. Okay. Dennis. No tree. And Ellsbury. Yeah, no Ellsbury. Okay. Unlinked tree says. Yeah, I don't recognize those names at all.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that's going to be tough to. Do you ever search for these names on the family search tree? Like, May Keel, 1926 to 2004. See if they show up, and then
I do sometimes, and then I find them in somebody else's tree. And
yeah, see if you're related. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll try that. Just if you think that's worth a shot. Okay. Let's see what this says. View relationship. Yeah, that's pretty far back. This is so. Let's see, the wife of my second cousin 3 times removed. So that's at the level of my great grandmother, my dad's grandmother.
Yeah.
So is that helpful? We're seeing that it's through this line here, or
Well,
not
if I
helpful.
remember correctly, the line that we saw was Miller Downs. That's what we were saying this group, that's what Ancestry suggested it might be. And based off of that tree that you just pulled up, that was your Downs line. So there's not enough data, I would suggest here to kind of, 100% confirm it. But, it seems like you could temporarily, until you learn a little bit more, change that orange group title to Miller Downs.
Okay. And are we going to have 4 total groups at the end once we consolidate, or
Well,
8?
We probably, I mean, you have right now, what is it, like 12, I think it was?
Yeah, 11 or 12. Yeah.
I mean, you might have all 12, and you're going to keep them,
Oh, okay.
because they represent unique lines. And so once we start really investigating them, we might be able to determine what they are. And, that you will have 12 distinct groups. You may not know who they are because there may not be enough trees there or enough through line hints to suggest who they are, but
Okay.
they exist.
Okay. Cool. So I'll do that. What Rick helped me realize is that you can have any number of groups to your DNA matches because the matches can come from any part of your family tree. Say you're looking at a fan chart like this might represent 12 groups that are in your DNA matches. And based on the randomness of DNA and who's happened to have taken a test on the various DNA websites, you might have some randomness like this. On the right side, you see that there are no matches. And then on the left side, you see that Leonard, my great-grandfather, and both of his parents could have a group. So if anybody that shares DNA with me through Leonard is going to also kind of be connected to Agnes and Robert because those are his parents. But what we're interested in is the most recent common ancestor. So there might be people that I share DNA with through Agnes or through Robert, or if both, then it's through Leonard. And we want to put people into these groups based on their most recent connection to us. And that's why you can have any number of groups.
Now, if we go back and look for another
Okay,
person,
another single color. Okay, so yellow.
yeah, we can look at it. Just it's always good to see. He's got an unlinked tree. It may not. It's worth just checking out what his tree, because you don't know. Again, his surname matches the name of his tree, so it's just not linked. There's not much here, but I always
Ray.
just take, yeah.
Ray is a name I recognize in there. This
This
let's see where I see that. Yeah, that's his under the Downs and Beckstead. So these are my great grandparents.
okay, so this could be because you're recognizing Ray
Yeah, so he married
Downs.
Downs. Yeah, so he would share his kids would share DNA with
It looks like
Parley.
so. This one may be Downs. What is that? Beckstead. So what I would do is go back to your match and look to see if the shared matches with this individual also has that Ray and maybe even Beckstead ancestor.
So his shared matches. We want to see if
Yeah, and we can look at. We want to. I think if you could find single ones here, that would be great. If not,
okay.
sometimes you can look at those that have just a couple of dots to try to figure out.
Yeah, here's one.
Okay, and it has a hint.
Oh, on the common ancestor. Yeah.
Yep. And this is Beckstead. And so this is important because it suggests that it may be just Beckstead and not Beckstead Downs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so, and again, Ancestry is suggesting that this is the case. We can look at this, and you can actually click on the common ancestor, the Beckstead one suggested by the through lines there, the George Washington.
See this, that one.
Yep. If we click on it, it will, you can get rid of that. And there it shows it's kind of coming down. See there, you see there's the Beckstead Downs line, which is right above it, and that's Beckstead. So this yellow may actually be just Beckstead.
Okay.
Beckstead Downs. And so if we go back to that match and look for any other just single yellows,
we want to see if they're Beckstead, kind of consistent to Beckstead.
Yeah, just I like to see a couple data points kind of suggesting that. Downs Beckstead. So I mean, again, the common thing seems to be Beckstead, but again, Downs Beckstead. So, but that one before it was just Beckstead kind of suggests to me that here's another one. I'm going to click on that. It looks like they haven't linked it, so we can click on that. There's not enough information there to really do anything with. Okay, here's another one. There's only one person there, so it's probably not helpful.
Okay.
Yes,
yeah, there's two yellows. Okay, do that one.
And there I see Downs.
So yeah, that's interesting to have it on the downside there.
Except if you click on that individual, I mean, they may be a descendant of Beckstead Downs.
Oh, got it. Yeah, that can make sense.
I don't know.
So, they don't have parents listed on the tree.
maybe if you go to your family search and type her in, maybe she's linked to somebody else's tree.
Yeah. Okay. Get that. So 1880. Yeah. Interesting.
Not
Not the
the
Beckstead side. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so I mean, there's something going on. Maybe the one that we saw with
Hmm.
Beckstead, they may have downs elsewhere as well that we just are not seeing.
Okay.
But this is why it's kind of good to check all of them out to make sure. I mean, that one kind of
Yeah.
suggests downs, the other one suggested Beckstead, but all the other ones. If worst case, we can't figure it out with the information we have at this point, we can just call it Beckstead Downs. And here, this one is Beckstead. I think spending more time with this line and figuring out whether it's truly Beckstead or Downs is probably an important thing to do. But I think we can certainly feel comfortable labeling it Beckstead Downs.
Okay. Okay. And then I guess the process was looking for another single color.
Yes, and I think we had hit the bottom of that, like for single
Oh,
colors.
did I
We'd
go?
have to go back to your main matches,
Oh, got it. Yep.
look
Okay.
for another single color.
So is contacting your DNA matches a pretty last resort?
I think so. And if you could figure it out without having to contact them, I think that's ideal because not everybody is paying attention to when they have messages.
Is our process here? We would just go through and finish all
Yep.
12 groups?
Yep. Yeah, I think you don't have to do this all together. I think at that point, it's just kind of figuring out, going through all those ones that have the individual dots and just feeling comfortable which ancestral couple they belong to. And the one good thing is that you seem to have a lot of through lines. Extent that those through lines are accurate and seem to correlate well, especially when you do the shared matches, you kind of see those, then you can feel confident to just call them that. And once you have all of these 12 done, or as many as you can reliably do at this point, then we've done that. And then we can start going in there and looking at, a specific research question about the Wilson line, for example.
Okay. Okay. So for next time when we talk, you would like me to go back and finish the groups. Yep. I mean, especially on the Wilson side of the family, get that really solid.
Yes, exactly. No, and this problem that you're working on right here, I think is a little bit more difficult in that it's so far back in time.
Okay.
And a lot of times what I have to do is when I identify a cluster that seems to be relevant, you end up spending a lot of time building out those people's respective family trees to establish and confirm that the cluster that you're seeing is on the Wilson side versus whatever Hughes
okay.
cluster is or anything else. But yeah.
Well, good. Well, yeah, we'll plan to do more of that than in a future video then if that works.
Yes,
but okay.
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Rick, thank you. I appreciate it.